It's nowhere near it. And I'll tell you, even like last year when I was helping the state candidates, we helped 67 candidates win their seats who were Democrats. And the lesson was, understand what moral reframing is. Understand that you and I can say the same thing and it means something totally different. But if I say what you say back to you in a way that makes sense to you, you're going to agree with me. For instance, it's not about gun control, because I don't believe anyone should be controlled. It's about gun reform, period. It's not about, I want to change everything in an environment, but environmental protection is economic protection for the first district in our country. Those are the terms that people understood. I don't want to take away your health care. I want to make sure you have health care so that you can be here for your children and grandchildren so you can enjoy them. But I'm not going to force it on you. Those are the type of statements that make sense to a conservative person. Because one of the things I kept hearing is, I don't want the government in my health care. Well, nor do I. I don't want the government in my health care. But the fact of the matter is, if you get Medicare, the government's in your health care. And the people who are complaining the most are the people who already have Medicare. If you say, it's a way you say things. About nationality. So this district, I'm going to tell you, they had a hard time voting for a Black woman. I would, if I had won in 18, I would have been the first woman of color to represent Virginia on Capitol Hill. That's historic in its own. Right now, there are no women of color on a ballot in a presidential year. That's hurtful. But we do have a Muslim man, and he is making strides to bring equality to the vote, and it should not even be a discussion. He's a man. I wish that we as Americans could focus more on the person's qualities and who they are than what they look like and what religion they practice. But we're not there yet. Clearly, we're not there yet with 2020. We've had a pandemic, protests, prolific poverty. This year has proven what has truly broken in this country. And, Karen, you and I, we spoke about this about a week or so ago. And I said, I was asked before, about a month or two before the primary, can I do what I want to do not on Capitol Hill? Yes and no. Yes, if we have a representative who can pass the legislation to help get the job done in the first district. And no, if we don't. I feel that, I could step up and work on within other avenues of really promoting what we need as a people. But I'm really reluctant because I have 6 daughters at home, and my fear is, I want you to think about what has happened to the really seriously popular civil rights leaders. And is that something that's worth it for my daughters? And that is death. Every civil rights leader that has been wildly successful has been murdered. And unfortunately, with the amount of strife and ignorance in the country, that is something that I don't think I'm ready to step into and take that chance. I'm ready to take it to Capitol Hill. And that's why I say I have to keep fighting I have to keep fighting.
Vangie, you touched on, that, you would have been the first African-American woman. And I often, I do a series, Women Who Lead, and I often look at the many different industries that women, and most often Black women, are lacking. Like, we still have cities that have never had a Black female mayor. We still have school districts that have never had a Black female superintendent. States without governors. What do you think needs to happen? Because we've had a great push. I love the direction that we're going, but we still have work to do in that capacity because we are still not represented at every table.
Yes, that seat at the table is critically important. Ayanna Pressley, I envy her because she has the one office on Capitol Hill that I was hoping I would get, and that is the Office of Racism.
Yes.
And I made sure when I went to Capitol Hill and met with John Lewis that I went past and touched that door, okay? Because we okay, never in my life did I grow up and say, as a small Black child, that I wanted to go to Capitol Hill and be a congresswoman. I've always said I wanted to be a major CEO of a corporation. And I just understand now how pivotal or how it was never presented to me that I could do it. See, we've always been told what we can and can't do. Girls should be nurses. Girls should be secretaries. Well, I've often been the only Black and the only woman in the room in my field. I've often been the only Black woman who would speak up in events. And it bothers me because why are we still waiting for permission? Black women need to take that leap and do what they need to do to get that seat at the table so we all can eat. The role of the Black woman has always been the strength. And most people don't want to believe that, but yes, our brothers are strong, but a Black woman, she takes care of the kids, she takes care of her man, but she gets the job done. And I've had on the campaign trail, I had questions asked like, well, who's going to take care of your children while you run for Congress and when you get to Capitol Hill? Guess who? Me, my husband, my family, because we are a unit. Or my other one, oh my goodness. Why on the campaign trail did it make a difference? But I was asked for all my children by the same father. Now, what did that have to do with my qualifications and skills? I've also been told that I don't have to be the smartest woman in the room or the smartest person in the room. Or why did you need all those degrees? Why? Because there's a Black glass ceiling. And for me to break through so I can pull you up with me, I needed that degree. Because while I got my degrees in my 30s, a 20-year-old, 25-year-old can walk in the door and take a position right next to me with no experience. That is not what we're here for. I am adamant that we as Black women, and I'm going to say women of color because I'm Indian, Southeast Asian, and I have a little bit of itty bitty. I don't want to Elizabeth Warren anybody, but I have a little itty bitty Native American blood, white and Black. But most people don't see the other nationalities. I'm like, this is my hair. I have traits, but people don't understand those traits mean nothing. When you asked about education, my grandfather always said the greatest thing that a person can have is their education. Second is land. You have those two things, you are the wealthiest person on earth. And I'll keep striving for it.
A great answer. Yes. And I gotta second what grandfather said, coming from the South myself and raised in the South, we believed in, you worked hard to own your own land, and the next generation just add on to the land, and then and they pass it on. And, especially when our ancestors first got freed, that was the most important thing to them, was to buy their land and have their own property. So that resonated with me. Yes, thank you for that. But moving on now, Vangie, I'm going to give you a question. First thing that comes at you. We've been at this now, and you know where I'm going. We've been at this. And we already hearing 2 more years. We'll be again. Why? Where do you get the drive? Why? And what is it that is going to be that thing that is needed to get over that huddle here? Because we've been going up this huddle, and it's tough, but the drive in you is tougher, because you just coming back, and you're coming back with, just with much more passion than even the first time, even the second time. I can hear it in you. But people would ask that. Why? What is the driving force behind it? And what would be that thing to get you over that huddle? What is it?
So the drive. The drive is knowing that there are people in this district who don't have running water or electricity. The drive is knowing that there are people in this district who don't know where their dollar for tomorrow is coming from. There are people in this district who don't see the hope because they've never had any hope. The drive is knowing that I can make a difference, and I can give back to my community full force, full-hearted, and not hold back. To know that Waterman begged the incumbent to help them. He made a passionate speech back in February or March, and they've heard nothing. The Watermen didn't get any of the CARE Act. They're starving. Their life is the water, and their employees could not get paid. Knowing that it doesn't matter what color your skin is, being hungry at night feels the same. I want to make sure that every single person in this district is represented to the fullest degree, that they can call me any time of the day or night. And as their congresswoman, I would be there. Because it wasn't about party. It was about the people. And not only was it about the people, it was about the pride of knowing that we are Virginians and we are strong and we are about love. Now, what would it take? For one, first, I have to retire my campaign debt. We finished actually pretty good. For 2 years, for 2 terms of campaigning, we only have $42,000 in debt, where other campaigns are like $3 million or $300,000. When you say $42,000, it's still a lot of money, but it's not as much as the others. But the money, we have asked people to continue contributing to the campaign, because I'm not shutting down Vangie for Congress. I am only getting it ready. And I've had people go, well, what about the guy who's running now? Okay, he runs. But Vangie for Congress does not just represent one district. We have this group called the Women's Summit. It's an event we have every year. And I say we because the women of Virginia, these women actually put on one of the greatest marches, along with the Indivisible groups. They every year host a summit. And every year I see more women come out. The first year was 350. The second year was 750. This year online, there were thousands. It takes money to come back and understand that Virginia is my district. And that is a model that has been with them for years. Virginia is my district. So what will it take? $1. $2, $5. Instead of buying that new pair of shoes, donate to Vangie because she needs it.